Welcome to a Friday Reads, where I talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next, and I'm just doing one this month because there's a lot of end of the year content because of, holidays and busyness. But honestly, I kind of do like doing these weekly because I already forgot that I read one of the books that I read this month. I'm like, oh wow, what are my thoughts about that book? Because it has left my mind and I've been in the middle of so many things. But it's generally been a good reading month. I feel like for some reason this month, because I finally didn't have as much to do for work, mentally, I didn't have to prep as much, I felt like I could challenge myself more, and I was kind of missing that in my reading, which means I don't necessarily love things that I've been reading this month as much, but I'm enjoying the process of sitting down and feeling accomplished after reading something that's challenging for me. So with that said, let's start that off with Absolution by Jeff Vandermeer. This is the last book in that series-ish. I don't know. I think there's not a really strong consensus of what it should be in this series. So the first three are Annihilation, Authority, and Acceptance, and that is definitely considered a trilogy. And this one is sort of more of a prequel-ish. I don't know, it's Area X, so who's to say? Some parts of this were really cool, and other parts of this were astronomically obnoxious. Okay? I don't know why he made the decisions he did as an author. It's basically, some people say, 3 novellas put together, and I kind of agree with that assessment. The first novella should be cooler than it is, but because he leans on really descriptive prose, it doesn't work as well for me. But I will say, the first novella, probably people who have been, really into this will eat up, because it's kind of sort of teases, in theory, the first expedition. In theory. I don't, the timeline's messy and fuzzy, and, I don't know what's happening. I am someone who I feel like shouldn't be as confused as I am, and yet, having read all 4 of these books, I know less than when I started. And not in something happened to make me think another thing wasn't real. It's more just I don't know. The second one was my favorite because that one actually focused on a character and this character's internal struggles in addition to Area X, and I do find that is when Area X is strongest for me. With the exception being I don't like the biologist. I like Control, I like Ghostbird, I like the Lighthouse Man, I like the director, and I like Old Jim. I do not like the biologist. So every time he's doing that character work with these other people. Oh, and the exception of Lori. And these names mean nothing to you if you haven't read the series. Because the third novella is just obnoxious. It's simply obnoxious. I'm sure there's something useful to mine in there. I know it's intentional. It's obnoxious to me. I did not enjoy it. And what sucked is I was doing this on audio. And if you know what happens in this third novella, you could maybe see why this is obnoxious. Although some people said it was less obnoxious in the audio because it could have different inflections. I do like this narrator. This is the same narrator that I think did Authority, and I really liked him for Authority. But we have a character who I guess just has this tick where he has to just swear profusely in his head over and over and over again. And I'm not just talking every few paragraphs. I'm talking multiple times in a sentence excessively. And even if this is a real thing, it's obnoxious to consume. I almost stopped. I was almost man, do I have 2 hours in me? Do I? After all of this. But I'm a completionist. And it didn't keep being as bad. And it was kind of interesting. And it kind of sort of connected and disconnected things. I don't know. I feel like I have such a weird relationship with this series where I want to understand it. I want to get it. When I finished this book, I went down rabbit holes of YouTube videos to try and connect these dots and understand. And I think it doesn't thematically resonate with me, so I don't appreciate that. It doesn't mean it doesn't have good themes, it does not resonate with me. I like some of the characters, but not that much. And I just don't know what's happening. So the really cool, atmospheric, bizarre, cosmic horrorness of it just doesn't land for me. And I can't tell if it's because it's cosmic horror, and cosmic horror maybe just doesn't work for me, or if it's because he's really descriptive in his style, and that just doesn't translate as well for my brain processing. Regardless, I did it. For better or worse. What have I gained? I don't know. But that that was finished. The next thing I finished, and I read this with Ridma. I'll link her channel down below. She's actually been doing Vlogmas, which has been quite delightful. And she had commented that she wanted to read this book, and I'm like, well, I paused it earlier this year. So would you like to buddy read it? Because we've never buddy read something together. And she's like, yeah, sure. Which is like my favorite thing about BookTube is just getting to read books with people all over the place. And so we read A Stranger in Olondria by Sofia Samatar. So you've probably at this point seen my best of the year video, and you'll know that this author was on that list. Now, this is not a best book of the year for me. It did win the World Fantasy Award. This is another example of just like a world building style that doesn't really work for my brain. Like some things I really loved about its world building choices, and other things it's just proper noun soup. It's just a lot of descriptive words, and it doesn't work as well for me. That said, I do think I like the project of this story, and I'm excited to read the companion sequel. So this is about Javek. He's this young man, grew up on an isolated island that has its own religion, superstitions, relationships with storytelling, and he travels to Olondria because he's a merchant's son, and he gets to take over the family business once his father is no longer able to do so. And sorry, the ring light is just going to be shining off this book because it's a shiny book. And in that process, he has wanderlust. He's enjoying seeing the sights, and a supernatural thing happens. And he sort of gets in over his head in local politics, and he's also dealing with the supernatural thing. And I really like where his storyline ended up. But in general, as we travel to different places, I do think it's very descriptive for people who like descriptive, like world building style. So like if you really liked Wheel of Time and just like other travel log type things where it's really describing the architecture, the clothing that people are wearing, it's just feels a little more detached. For me, I loved this when it brings in stories within this world. This world is rich with its own mythology and lore. Like, I mean, it's mapped that you barely get context for. Like, this is a well built out world. Like, we barely touch any of this, and this is just all here. I loved that because that made the world feel rich to me, these stories within this world, and the discussion about the roles of religion and government, the discussions about storytelling, whether it should be literary, like in written form, or oral, which one's better, which one's worse, etc. I think, it does a really good job of being what it wants to be. It's just like not my type of story in so many ways. But I'm glad I did read it. So, finished TBR Spin this year, though. It's accomplished. This was my last book for it. The last book I finished, I actually just finished like an hour ago. I have this like really old copy of this book. This book that I'm holding is from like the 1980s. This book is older than me, who just turned 33. Yeah. So we just read, on the front of this, it has 3 stories. There's like basically 3 short stories or novellas in here. And we read Midaq Alley for book club tomorrow. So I'll put a prettier cover of this, but I just want you to know that this is like one of those old library books where they put like reinforced backing on the back. It has like a plastic translucent cover. And this is the only way I could find this book. Like, it's so out of print. And if you don't know, like, this is author. He is the winner of the 1988 Nobel Prize for Literature. And so I was reading this because my local book club tomorrow, we're going to talk about it. And I'm so excited. One, I have. Well, have I? I've read another translated work from the Middle East area before, but I don't know if it was Arabic or not. Regardless, this is an Arabic translated work, so that's great for Herked. And it takes place in Egypt, so I can use it either takes place in the continent of Africa, or I can use it for, I think, Arabian heritage or something like that. So Herked, great. But also just, I love going to my local book club. Like, it's just such a source of joy for me. And this book, I don't love it, but I really like it. I wish we read things like this in high school. And maybe in high school I still wouldn't have liked it as much. Maybe it's just because I am older now. Like when a lot of people read Charles Dickens as an adult, they appreciate it more than when they're forced to at the wee old age of 13 like I was. But what I really liked about this is it felt like a play. And I love plays. I don't read them very often though, so it's still prosy. It didn't like read like a play, but I felt the stage. I felt that, okay, we're just on the street, and the purpose of this story is to talk about these people on this street, which is like a classic framework for some musicals and plays. And it was set in the mid-20th century, so tail end of World War II in continental Europe specifically, in Egypt, on this pretty impoverished, lower middle class street. And I really loved all the personalities we were flitting between. And the writing style, like whoever translated this, it was seamless for me to read. It really wasn't difficult at all. So I assume this author maybe just doesn't really have a dense prose style, which I really appreciated after how dense Stranger in Olondria was and Absolution. This felt just effortless to consume while also just getting to explore a place. Like, I felt more transported here than I was to Area X or Olondria, because here I was like transported to these people. And I do think for me, cultural world building has to come from the people. And obviously there's no world building in this. This is about like a street in Cairo. But I've never been to Cairo. So it was really nice to explore this snapshot of what the I think it's 1940s probably here. I think it's like 1943, 44. And it's really just interesting to compare that to a lot of the media I've consumed of that time in other contexts, but also just these people and their relationship to their neighbors, to religion, to their wants and desires, to the societal norms. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to unpack it with other book club members, and it was just one of those times where I really liked the tactile experience of sitting down and reading this book, because that was the only way I could read it. I couldn't find an ebook. I couldn't find an audiobook. It was just old school, this stupid old bind up copy. My bookstore does sell like standalones of these, but I try really hard. Like, I buy other books from there. Like, I don't think I'll show you the other book I got recently, although I should. Oh, I should go get it from my shelf. It's really pretty. I will go get it to show you two guys, because I bought myself a little birthday present. So that was really delightful. So I guess let's talk about what I'm in the middle of, and I'll show you the book I got. And that'll be this video, and I have no idea what I'm doing next. The rest of this month is, like, I'm literally like halfway through the month as I'm filming this. So one, I got this copy from the publisher. Thank you so much. And I got the e-arc from them as well. But we have We Will Rise Again, the anthology I was talking about in my best of video. So I will post a picture maybe, because maybe this is too shiny. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to post a picture because I might actually flip through this a fair bit. I'm about almost halfway through right now, and I'm obsessed with it. Mainly because I think I work best with anthology with a clear purpose and structure that are less than 300 pages. And like, this one's more than 300 pages, but I forgive it because of its curation style and because of the different types of media within it. I guess I really love two of these authors. I really appreciate Anna Louise Newitz's work, and I want to read more by them, but I've only read one part of one of their books. But these three individuals, I remember when they thought about putting this together, and I was like, that sounds so cool. So it is an anthology that is meant to be hopeful and realistic and kind of about activism and how you deal with the ebbs and flows of hope in the tumultuous time. And so I think it's speculative stories and essays on protest, resistance, and hope. And I need that right now. Okay, I need that always. Someone was actually mentioning in my top 10 video, they were bringing up arbor reality, which I do think if you like arbor reality, that type of thematic resonance and weight will pull through into this. And what I really love is it has essays, it has interviews, and it has short stories, and it has reprinted essays, and it has reprinted short stories, and there's an order to it. So like, it's not just cobbled together, with no anthology is, but like, I can feel and appreciate the art that went into what I call like a mixtape of the anthology. So like, for example, Ursula Vernon, T. Kingfisher, if you don't know her actual name, has this reprinted kind of short essay called The Quiet Heroics of Gardening. And right after it, there's this short story called, Persephone in the City. And they are both about gardening and resistance and community. And it was perfect having the little essay before the longer short story. And I assume that other things will happen that way. That said, there's also just like amazing stories in here. Other Wars Elsewhere has been living rent-free in my head. This is actually by the author R.B. Lemberg, which I read their short story collection that was nominated for the Ursula K. Le Guin Award in Fiction. And I really liked those short stories, but this one was special. It was definitely inspired by Ukraine. I think the author is either family related to Ukraine or from Ukraine themselves. And whoa, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And then there's like just like engaging ones like Originals Only, and that's about like sports and tech and what does it mean to have advantages in sports that are just biological or augmented by, you know, biomethods and things like that. We have Nicola Griffith, who's the author of Spear, talking about disability in fiction and representing that. Where Memory Meets the Sea is... I need to reread that one. It's kind of chilling. Like, all of these are so poignant, but like, I don't think necessarily it's directly about Palestine, but I couldn't help thinking about it. So I don't, and also a lot of these have author notes at the end, and some of these people aren't like directly authors. They're people who maybe write but don't normally write fiction and then are stretched to do so, and like that's been really cool. Like, I think that was actually maybe Originals Only, and I was really impressed by that. We got Disruption by Semet Basu, who I really love, and that was just reaffirmed that I'm like, I love this author. He wrote Jinbot of Shantyport, and so that one was, I'm trying to remember, Disruption. Oh, that was fun, because it was like, I like short stories that kind of play around with something that would be super obnoxious in a full-length novel, but is so fun for like 20 pages. And this was like a one-side recording of an interview. And you really don't know the context of the interview, so I really liked unpacking it, and it was the role of surveillance and AI, and yeah, it was really cool. And then The Gray and the Green by Nisi Shawl. This one took me a minute, but I really ended up liking the role of like this thought process and how it kind of messed with time and multiverses and just small change, how one buys into change. And the most recent one I read was Persephone in the City, which was a bittersweet story with some beautiful poetry in it. And so, yeah, so far I've been obsessed, and I've just listened to a podcast, and I still have half of it to go. This is such an Angela book, okay? Such an Angela book. And I hope it's a book for other people as well, because I don't know about you guys, but it's already been a month, hasn't it? And it's nice to just, I don't know. It's nice to hold hope. It's nice to also be given ideas of action and inspiration. So I've been really enjoying this. The other thing I've been reading, and I think I'm like over halfway through. This is my copy of the Amber Spyglass. I had to put this down on hold because I got really busy during finals week, and I needed to finish the one for book club and the buddy read I was working on. But now this is back to being my primary physical read. And what can I say? It's the Amber Spyglass. It's objectively probably the worst paced book. But the scenes I love in it are probably my favorite scenes in the series. And so I'm pretty okay with it. I don't really know what to talk about, though. It's like the third book in a series. I think things I really love about it have to do with how it plays with the roles of science and religion and society. I really love how ride or die Lyra and Will are for each other. I mean, I say that a lot. I love a ride or die relationship and how connected they are. I really like how they get to choose their own path and gain information. I really love some of the foreshadowing I get to see, having read this series so many times, especially with Mary's arc, and how you get to interact with species that are people but not human. I think that's a really big strength of this book for me and in the world building. And yeah, it's one of my favorites. So now let me go grab the book I picked up, and then maybe we can just chat through what the heck I'm reading the rest of this month. Ugh. So actually, I have 3 books that I got for my birthday. Totally forgot. One is just a gift from my stepfather. He always gets me the newest Brandon Sanderson. So here's the newest one, sci-fi short stories. I've already read most of these, except for the newly published ones, and I probably still won't read Mitosis because I hate the Reckoners with a fiery passion. Because I think that one is Reckoners. But it's nice to have a bind-up of them, and this is nice because it's not as big as the last bind-up of short stories. The Arcanum Unbounded is large. But these 2 I got at Hexagon Books, my local bookstore that I love, that I'm going to the book club tomorrow. We had our Spanish chat Saturday, and I noticed one of these books on the shelf. I'm like, oh my gosh, is that a new printing? And he's like, yes. It's like, I need that. And then I saw this other one on the used bookshelf, and I was like, Oh my god, I've been looking for that. And it's like a pristine used copy too. So let's start with the one I bought full priced, and that is Somebody is Walking on Your Grave by Mariana Enriquez. This is a nonfiction. I'm very excited about it. I think I'll be able to use it for her kid because although I've done a memoir, I don't think this is a memoir nonfiction. I think it's more like travel, geographic nonfiction. Like, it's a very interesting work where she is traveling to different cemeteries and discussing, I think, the location and maybe some different things about it. It has pictures in here, like when they go to places. I'm really excited about it. To just see. This book's been out for a really long time in Spanish, but since she's gotten more popular in English-speaking countries, they are reprinting it, and it kind of matches the extreme colors we have on her other covers, so the Our Share of Night and A Sunny Place for Shady People, and so I'm excited to continue my collection of her works. And then this one, I read this way before BookTube. I don't know, 2018? Was it even out then? Let's see if I'm even making sense. Yeah, this came out in 2017, so that makes sense. And we always read them in paperback, so 2018. This is In the Distance by Hernan Diaz, who is the author of The Trust, which was the one that won the Pulitzer Prize the same year as Demon Copperhead. I like this one more. I really like this cover. This cover brings me a lot of joy. I actually own the ebook of this because I read it back before I knew how to use the library. Like, I would have probably used the library if I, knew what I was doing. This is maybe my favorite Western. Is it actually a Western? I mean, it is a Western. It takes place in that time period in the west of America. These two brothers are traveling. I forget what country they're traveling from. It's somewhere in Europe, and I want to say Switzerland or Sweden. But I don't think this has a back of the book thing for me to look at. They're just like, you're going to read this book and you're going to like it. Can you imagine? You get this book from the bookstore and you only have blurbs to pick from. But these two brothers get separated. They accidentally take different ships to the Americas, and one ends up on the East Coast and one ends up on the West Coast. And it's the story of the one who ended up on the West Coast trying to make his way back across America in the, I believe, 1800s, back to his brother. It is bleak. It is kind of like that reverse Western story, because most of the time people are going west and he's pushing against it and he doesn't speak English. It's a lot. I really liked it. I liked it more than Trust. And so when I saw this pretty much pristine version of it for $6, I had to get it. So yeah, and then in terms of reading, I don't know what I'm doing. I've been dipping in and out of Phoenix King as my audiobook, but it hasn't really stuck yet. And one of my favorite audio narrators isn't as in it as much as I thought he would be, which makes me a little bummed. I don't know if I'll maybe get to read Paladin Souls soon. I have a lot of hours to put into that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to see what strikes me once I've gotten some of these other cleared off the deck. So at the end of the month, when I do my wrap up, we'll see what I've gotten to then. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with what I've accomplished. I feel good about the challenges because they were generally worth my time. Even Absolution, even though I'm still just what? I feel like I'm so dumb. I feel so dumb. And I don't think it's actually me. But how is your reading going? What are you ending the year with? And if you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, I don't know. We will rise again. I don't know. Well, I guess I really liked the one with seeds and gardening and things like that. So leave an emoji that makes you think of gardening. It could be a plant. It could be one of the tools. It could be the little gardener person. And otherwise, if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.